What is going on, guys? Joey Suggs here, and welcome to today's video. Today I want to do a video based on genetics. More specifically, what role does genetics play in building muscle, losing fat, and having an overall aesthetic physique? Also, is what we see online in Instagram and all over YouTube, is that obtainable for the average natural lifter? And thirdly, if you have bad genetics, are you shit out of luck? Or is there something you can do to still get a nice aesthetic looking physique? So with all that being said, let's get right into it. So what role does genetics have in putting on strength, putting on size, the ease of that? And to be completely honest with you, like everything, your genetic predisposition is gonna tell you whether you're gonna have big calves or long calves, where your muscle inserts on your body, and the overall size that muscle can grow. Your flexibility just straight out of the womb is going to be either way worse or way better than mine. Also, your ease of putting on strength and putting on size is highly dependent on your genetics. Your metabolism and also where you store fat on your body specifically also comes down to, you guessed it, genetics. So yes, genetics makes a huge difference for really anyone, whether you're trying to put on size or lean down or whatever. It makes a big difference. So the classic bodybuilding wise tale that if you flex your bicep like this and you can fit 2 fingers in it, you're always going to have small biceps. Is it true? Not necessarily, but it does make a good point about genetics. Some people have a genetic predisposition to have an insertion on their bicep higher up, which is going to give them a fuller bicep. Now, if your insertion is, well, I guess higher up on your arm and not as close to your forearm, you're going to have a peakier bicep. So it kind of goes both ways. But for most people who have a big looking bicep just in shirts or whatever, have a low insertion point near their forearm for their bicep. The same goes for things like your calf muscle. If you have a high inserting calf muscle, you're going to get a very skinny leg and then a fat calf. Whereas if you have a low inserting calf muscle, you're going to get a tapering calf with a decent sized bulge at the end. There's really nothing you can do to change that about yourself. It's just the way you were born. Okay, so we see all these people on Instagram, social media in general, that have these amazing physiques, and everyone wants to go, oh my God, I want to be just like him or her. And the reality is, one, they are very possibly just a genetic anomaly, as in they have like 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million genetics to be able to put on muscle and put on size and look aesthetically pleasing, be very lean, all while being huge. Now, 2 possibilities here. Like I said, 1, genetic anomaly, and these guys are just freaks, or they're taking something that they're not telling you and I about, which is not always the case, but a lot of times it is, especially in the fitness industry and social media these days. And also, that's like the hardest part and the worst part about people is everyone's trying to compare themselves to something else. You know, if you go in the gym and you're super put down by someone benching 405 for 5 reps and you can do 185 for 2 reps, you're never gonna feel motivated to improve on yourself. You're always going to look at this guy and say, wow, he's always going to be better than me. There's nothing I can do. When you look from within and you start growing from within, you really get excited about yourself and your personal growth. So if we can stop focusing on the social media monsters of this world that dominate everything aesthetically, we start to look within and we can build a very successful physique on our own naturally. And it may not look like Steve Cook or Chris Bumstead or anyone like that, but we're still going to have a nice body that we'll all be proud of. So in the end, is what we see online and social media attainable for the normal average person? In some cases, yes, it is. It depends on really who you're looking at. But these elite level guys that, you know, have multi-million-dollar contracts with agencies and clothing brands and supplement companies and all this kind of stuff, the majority of them are, like I said, just anomaly freak genetic athletes, or two, they're taking some kind of performance enhancing drugs that they're either not telling you about or you know about and don't want to take them yourself to achieve that kind of level of physique. So that brings me to, say you and I both, we have shitty genetics. Well, are we never gonna look the way we want? Are we never gonna be satisfied with our body and our composition? Are we ever gonna be able to achieve a level of leanness and strength and size that we want? And in my opinion, that's absolutely false. I think no matter what your genetic predisposition is, there's always room for you to grow personally. I consider myself having pretty shitty genetics for bodybuilding, powerlifting, having an overall aesthetic physique. I'm way too tall. I've always struggled with gaining weight way too quickly. I'm not very flexible in the slightest, and I have a really low natural metabolism. On the bright side though, I do have pretty solid ab muscle bellies when I do get lean, and I do have pretty decent just genetic size in my triceps and strength as well. So, you know, not everyone's gonna be perfect in one aspect or another, but it's good to find what you're good at, and from there, you can either work on what you have or build up what you don't have. Now, like I said, whenever you stop comparing yourself to others and you focus on improving yourself, it makes the world of difference. For myself, like I said, I genetically have very, very bad flexibility. But throughout time and over the past year and a half now, I've been consistently stretching before and after at least once a day. And I'm able to get my squat depth way lower and way more comfortable than it's ever been. And so do I go in the gym and compare to someone who's touching their ass to the ground? Absolutely not. But for me, if I look at a video 2 years ago compared to now, there's a lot more depth in my squat, and I'm proud of that. I also just genetically put on strength slowly, but it doesn't mean that I don't put on the strength at all. You know, over time, the gains will be made. It's just my genetic predisposition makes it a lot harder for me to put on muscle than, say, someone who started in high school powerlifting and, you know, throughout college was a powerlifter and is lifting, you know, 675 pound deadlifts and a 485 bench. You know what I mean? Just, we might have the same time in the gym, but he's just at a better genetic predisposition to put on muscle than I am. So what this all comes down to is, if you're not a genetically gifted human being, is there any way for you to put on a good amount of muscle, have a strong, thin, athletic physique, and feel confident about yourself? And I think absolutely yes. I think no matter what you do, if you're natural or if you decide even not to be natural, you can build the physique that you want, regardless of genetics. It may never be perfect in your head, and I don't think anyone, I think even these genetic freaks that we all look up to, even in their head, they're not perfect, and there's always room to improve. So keep that in mind as you're on your fitness journey as well, is that no one ever thinks, oh, I'm at the top, you know, I'm done. I won Mr. Olympia. Chris Bumstead's gonna go sit on his ass now for the rest of his life. No, he's gonna come back and bring a better package even next year than he did this year. So guys, I just wanted to get on here and make a quick video for you guys, kind of dealing with some of these points that I hear a lot, especially here recently. There's been a lot of talk about, you know, is this guy a genetic freak, or is he taking something he's not telling us about? So I wanted to come in here, share my opinions, and hopefully help some of you guys out if you're struggling with some of the same things either I am, or seeing this all over the internet and wondering for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.